Hi, my name is Ella Cressman with Ella Cress Skincare. I've been a licensed esthetician for over 10 years and I am an ASCP member. I'm here today to show you some really cool tricks in the treatment room. So let's get started. Thank you for coming back to Techniques in the Treatment Room. I am Ella, and one of the ways that I built my business was on eyebrow waxing. I started out as the only esthetician in a salon, and so I took an eyebrow wax and was able to turn it into facials, chemical peels, microdermabrasions. So today I'm going to show you my foolproof method on the perfect eyebrow. Some things you'll need for creating the perfect eyebrow are gloves. This is a personal preference but could also be a state board requirement. I prefer gloves because, as some of you know, when we remove hairs that leaves the skin vulnerable, and I like to be protected. On that note, you also need a pre-wax cleanser, 2 cotton rounds, small wax sticks, a mascara spoolie, a large wax stick or some way to measure, tweezers, scissors, and a eyebrow pencil. So we'll start by putting on our gloves because that should be obvious. I also like to do this to the client to let them know that I'm in charge. Just kidding. Next, you'll saturate your first cotton round away from the client. Clean the area. This removes any oil or makeup and just allows the wax to adhere right to the skin. Next, I just kind of get the cotton round ready to work as we go. Set it aside. We need a pattern, so we're going to take our marker. I prefer a eyebrow pencil, but for the longest time I used eyeliner. And our measuring stick. We're going to create the golden ratio on her eyebrows for her face shape. We're going to use a few points. Side of the nose, inside corner of the eye, side of the nose, outside corner of the eye, and when we're ready, we're going to use her pupil as a gauge as well. So we'll start by measuring the beginning and the end. So this is where her eyebrows should begin, and this is where her eyebrows should end. Marking on the same point. Don't be marking outside on one eyebrow and inside you're measuring on the other one, because then you can have a hot mess. I just happen to know who her eyebrow specialist is, and she does an amazing job. It's me. Okay, now we're going to have the client look straight up, and there's two, right here. There's 2 ways to gauge where the arc should be. From the side of the nose through the pupil. Another way to look is on the outside of the iris, which should be the same point. So using that to check is an excellent idea. Also keeping the measuring stick away from their eye because that is awkward. Through the pupil, so that's the right point. So now we have our template, know how we can proceed forward. I like to use these wax sticks because they have a point on one side and a round edge on the other. I like to begin with the left eye because I'm right-handed, and so this is the way I prefer to go. We're going to use hard wax, and always test the wax on yourself. Testing for temperature, making sure it's not too hot. It's not. We're ready to go. Another way to test wax temperature is to watch it move down the stick. Slow movement means it's the perfect temperature. So we're going to start a little bit lower than what we need. Not holding the skin too tight because doing so can really change the shape. Working up to the point where our arc should be and down this way. You don't have to get the perfect shape on the wax because you can go back in and adjust with tweezers. Remove and then kill the nerve with your finger. So we've got rid of a lot of that. That's excellent. Repeat the same step on the other side. I like to trim after I wax. It's going to be a gauge for you. Holding the skin tight lift up gently on the edge, kill the nerve. The reason I like to trim after is because you can really take away from volume, and you don't want to do that, especially with today's trends. Such a large, beautiful eyebrow. So you'll see we had less hair come up on this side than this side, so we're going to do a little bit of tweezing. Taking clean tweezers, holding the skin taut, pulling with hair growth pattern. Using our clean cotton round just to remove any wax, treating the pore right away. This time as well, you can look and see if you need to wax the top of the eyebrows. I don't mind coming back into tweeze, because if I push the wax too hard or leave the wax on too much in an effort to try to get all the hairs, that could lead to lifting the skin. There's no problem for me just to go in and adjust, especially because the majority of the hair has already been taken off. Isn't she pretty? Beautiful eyebrows will work to just enhance the natural beauty of your clients. Also, using the golden ratio to measure ensures that the shape of the eyebrow is perfect for that client. I prefer not to use stencils because that's not necessarily flattering for everybody. Then we're going to use our markers for the middle, holding the skin tight, applying with the hair growth pattern, and removing against the hair growth pattern. Beautiful. Now I'm going to go in and see if we need to trim. When trimming, I move the hair in a few different angles. What I'm looking for is anything that's going to mess with the shape. She's great. Just a few on the end here are actually curling, and they're messing with the movement of the brow totally. You can see that. So we'll just do a little bit of light trimming. And again, I'm looking to see if we're going to need to wax the top or not. We're going to take another measurement gauge using our thumbs, making sure everything is the same thickness. So on this side, we see we have a little bit work to do. Some of these guys are a little long. Make sure trimming the eyebrows is within your scope of practice for your perspective state. And we're just going to gently point, clip the tips. See how those guys are curling around? Not going to come in too blunt, leave her looking like a 90s hip-hop superstar. Always checking. Check, check, check. Make sure before you move on. As they say, measure twice, cut once. Beautiful. These are my favorite tweezers. I've had them forever and I can't find them anymore, so I treat them like gold. I meant they used to be covered in pink paint. So you can see how many times they've been in the disinfectant. Wear it right off. So I think what we're going to do with the top, just to keep a natural look, is we're just going to feather off some of these larger hairs and leave that. Not waxing. Waxing will give an over-groomed look. When you're doing this feathering technique, you want to make sure you are holding the skin tight because it could be slightly painful. Last measure and check. And beautiful. Those are some of my favorite tips for creating the perfect brow. What are yours?